Let's suppose, for the sake of illustration, that one Friday, as the week is winding into the weekend, you see a notification from the Wall Street Journal reporting that the company you work for is in advanced discussions of some sort with your largest competitor. After 48 hours of much frantic pinging of your peers and little concrete news, late on Sunday comes the official press release. The two companies are merging. There follows a flurry of announcements from your senior leaders who are, to a person, both excited and thrilled by the news. Some are even energized. Work the following week is a frenzy of speculation, interrupted briefly by the fanfare heralding the arrival of the management consultants, and thereby begins a period of meandering unease while the deal moves through the approval process. At last, the white smoke emerges from the regulatory chimney, and the deal is given the go-ahead. Now, the slow-dripping uncertainty of the last months is replaced by a great flurry of busyness and renewed executive enthusiasm, all this attending the onset of the reorganization. The new senior team is announced, and then the leaders on that team announce that they will each be spending the next few weeks on the listening tour, followed by their own restructuring of the people beneath them, and so on, each announcement leading in turn to further listening and review, leading in turn to more reorganizations. Along the way, the bad old names of various departments will be unceremoniously defenestrated, and the obviously better new names will be rolled out to scenes of universal approbation. In all this you will marvel that things were quite so broken in the old world, now a distant memory, that it requires quite this much reorganization to get back on the rails. But everybody seems very convinced that this is just the ticket, and that everything is so much more sensible now, and frankly, who could have been so stupid as to put up with all that old stuff anyway? Your boss has to spend hours a week in meetings ironing out details of your new department, and no longer has much time to update you on what's going on. In all the musical chairs, some of your co-workers discover they no longer have a seat, and so quietly pack up their belongings and leave. One of the executives on the new senior team announces his retirement, effective immediately, and this, thankfully, presents the opportunity to make the senior leadership team even more perfect and exciting in ways that no one was able to imagine when they put together the old new senior team just a few months before. It then becomes apparent that the strategy that led to the merger is no longer as even better as people thought it was, and that a new one would be even more even better to reflect all the good things that have recently happened. More fanfare heralds the arrival of the rival management consultants, and thereby ensues more intense activity in conference rooms and a special PowerPoint template to give the new strategy a unified look and feel. Then the rollout, as part of which everyone is told they need to be able to tell the story of the new strategy. The senior team and the consultants seem very convinced that the defining characteristic of a strategy is mass recitation, and they have more words in their job titles than you do. Then it emerges that what with the new company and the new names and the new leadership team and the new strategy and the new PowerPoint template, the old ways of doing things are looking a bit dog-eared and in need of tidying up, and so work begins on the model. This will take people who previously reported regionally and make them report functionally, however, with a dotted line regionally, obviously, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense. And at the same time, the people who reported into the corporate organization will continue to do so, but in a federated model governed by a new group of functional integration councils, each of which will be responsible for establishing and monitoring service-level agreements and agreed standards. These latter will help people who were last week working happily alongside one another to continue to do so, but with betterness. To eliminate the risk of silos, which have built themselves a few times before, apparently, the company will be reassigning executive offices and moving everyone else around and into an open floor plan, because collaboration. Meanwhile, as reports have begun to reach the senior leaders of some fatigue in the ranks, only to be expected, of course, given the unavoidable realities of today's dynamic business world, a festival day is announced. during which employees will be able to hear directly from thought leaders who will share their thoughts, and which will culminate in a keynote session featuring both the wellness guru and the inspirational speaker, who will alternately encourage attendees to breathe deeply while clearing their minds and to shout loudly while filling their minds with alpha dog energy. To sort out all the thousands of details of the model, the various teams of consultants fan out across the organization and host town hall meetings so that everyone can understand how they must now do their jobs. As the last of these is winding down, all those present are distracted by a notification on their phones from the Wall Street Journal, reporting rumors that the company is considering splitting itself in two.